I'm going to make a quick note on parenting here, as married couples in books can have children and thus must deal with them. As many new parents, when I had my first child, I thought I really had the parenting thing down, as my first child was by the book as far as discipline went, and she was really good. Then I had a second child who was nothing like her, and I realized I didn't know as much as I thought. Well, now I have 7 children, almost all adults, and I have no parenting philosophies anymore. Every child is unique, and what works with one will not with the other. But there are some principles that are good for parents to know. First, be consistent. Particularly younger children need consistency. They need to know their boundaries, as boundaries give them security and make them feel safe. They like routines. As they get older, routines aren't as important to them, but standards and expectations need to be consistent. Parents can sometimes send very conflicting signals to their children, and that destabilizes and confuses them. Second, have high expectations. Strong families don't often have many rules, as that is controlling by force and may teach children to obey, but they will often rebel against the rules when they get older. High expectations teach the children to reach for a good goal, but gives them more autonomy and makes them responsible for their choices. It teaches them to be responsible and accountable, not just obedient to rules. Around the house, we have high expectations and few rules. Our rules are rather different than most families. There's no blood on the carpet. If you are bleeding, please do it over the hard floor. No back walkovers down the stairs. No gymnastic stunts over people. And no doing cartwheels with a baby in your hands. Third, set a good example. Too many parents' words and actions don't go together. Are you telling your children not to cuss while you use foul language? Are you telling them to be honest but you tell lies? Are you preaching to them to work hard while you spend every evening watching TV? Actions speak louder than words, so watch the example you set. One of the most eye-opening things for young parents is seeing their child mimic them. It is a wake-up call at times. Being consistent doesn't just mean in rules or expectations. It means consistent in your own words and actions. A last note on parenting. Know the difference between positive reinforcement and a bribe. Positive reinforcement is good. Bribing a child is not. Positive reinforcement is giving a reward for good behavior, which encourages that behavior. For example, if a child makes a good grade on a test and you praise him and give him a hug, that is rewarding good behavior. If a child scored goals in his soccer game and you celebrate the victory with ice cream, that is rewarding success. That is positive reinforcement. Bribery is giving something to stop someone from doing something they shouldn't and has the opposite effect. Now you may be saying, but if someone is stopping a bad habit, that is good, so it should be rewarded. Agreed. If someone has an addiction and stops for a month, that's good behavior. Sure, celebrate it and reward it. What I'm talking of with bribery is giving them a reward to get them to stop it. I can best explain it with an example. When I was in college, I was sitting on my porch with some of my friends. We were talking together while the kids were playing in the yard. One of the young children kept going out toward the street. Every time he neared it, his mother would call for him to come over and get a cracker. He would come over, get the cracker, eat it, and pretty soon go out near the street again. Again, the mother would call him over to get a cracker. The mother thought that it was a good way to get him away from the street, so she kept doing it. After a bit, another friend looked over at her and noted, "Do you realize that you are teaching him to go out to the street? Every time he does, he gets a cracker." No, the mother hadn't thought of that. This is bribery. She was using the crackers to try to stop a bad behavior, but in so doing was encouraging it. Positive reinforcement encourages good behavior. Bribery may temporarily stop a bad behavior, but it will encourage the behavior in the long run. All right, I said that was my last note on parenting, but I need to make one more comment. Don't be afraid to parent. Don't be afraid to say no. Today, too many parents are more concerned about being liked, about not hurting their children's feelings, or about being their child's friend than really parenting. As parents, our job isn't to be our children's best friend. It's to teach them and help them be their best so they can be productive citizens and have happy, fulfilled lives. When my children were growing up, there were many times I would ask them to do something and they would tell me that they didn't want to do it. And I would respond, I didn't ask what you wanted to do. I asked you to do it. Or they would respond, but I don't feel like, and I'd say, I don't really care about how you feel about it. It must be done. Now, I don't blow off my children if they are having problems, but when they don't feel like doing their homework, they still have to. When they don't feel like keeping a commitment, they still have to. Their feelings in those cases don't really matter. There are many cases in life where what we feel or what we want doesn't matter. Whether you want to go to work or feel like going to work, you still have to or you will lose your job. Children need to learn this. Too many people today don't understand this, and we are getting adults who don't have the maturity to deal with doing things that are outside of their comfort zone or are difficult. They don't have the drive to push through as they should. They expect the world to cater to their desires and feelings. The point of this is not to say don't be empathetic to children. I've spent many hours listening to children, really listening. I have a video on communication and listening to understand that I suggest that you watch. Yes, listen to children, empathize, but don't make them weak by caring so much about how they feel about taking out the trash that they don't have to do it. No, the trash needs to be taken out, whether they want to do it or feel like doing it. I get a kick out of my sons because I will ask them, do you want to go jogging with me today? It's raining, so you don't have to. My son will respond, no, let's do it. So many times my sons will respond, no, let's do it. They are glad I ask and care about how they feel or what they want, but they also know that there are things that should be done whether they want to or not. Those are a few general guidelines on parenting. No, it's not a complete list. That would be impossible, as all children are different. Wouldn't it be great if they came with instruction manuals? But they don't. So good luck with writing them and raising them. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. If you have parenting questions, feel free to ask in comments. If you have parenting advice, feel free to give it.